Hi everyone, welcome back to our series. You can say a conversation of MBBS admissions and what you can do to be eligible, or what are the advantages of taking an MBBS course. Today we're joined with Mbbs, one of our lead counselors in MBBS as well. So without further ado, I'll let him introduce himself. So Mark, can you take the stage?
Hi there everyone, my name is Mbbs. My colleagues here, they call me Markham. I head the counselling team in Admission India, and I also head the MBBS admission counselling team as well in Admission India. In Admission India, we have been doing MBBS admission facilitation for almost 3 years now. We've helped quite a few students in the complex admission process of MBBS admissions, how to choose the colleges, how to rank them and rank in order during the counseling process, whether they should be going for state counseling, national counseling and all that. So we give MBBS advice, admission advice rather, to students who are looking to pursue and make a mark for themselves in the field of medicine. We help students who aspire to become future doctors in this country, and we are kind of proud and very happy with the work that we've done so far, and we hope and we strive to continue doing some good work and giving advice to students on how to go about the entire complex matter, the complexities of the entire MBBS admission process. Yeah.
All right, Mark, so just to start off, can you tell me what role does Admission India have in helping students who want to pursue MBBS as a career?
Well, in Admission India, we strongly believe that students who have made a decision, right, Sarah, to pursue MBBS as a career, it's not a decision that they have made overnight or maybe 4 or 5 months prior to NEET exam, right? Incidentally, this exam is going to happen this Sunday, the 5th of May. It is a decision, it is a plan that has been with them for quite some time, and it is a decision that they have made not only on their own but also with their parents, right? So because of that, we also at Admission India take it very seriously, because it is a life-changing decision. It involves a lot of hard work, a lot of time, a lot of support from the family and all that. So at Admission India, what we do is that first and foremost, we encourage students who have taken this decision, because as you know, medicine, it's a very noble career. You're dealing with human life, right? So obviously, it is a very noble career. And we try our level best to give out all the necessary information, all the necessary answers that students and their parents are looking out for during the time of medical admissions. So what is unique about it is that different students, they come from different backgrounds and all that, right? So our facilitation process is very tailor-made. It's custom-made for each and every student. One student will have a different need from the other student who has a different preference, right? So we customize the process, we customize the counseling process that we counsel them, the guidance that we give them. It's highly customized as per the needs, requirements, personal preferences of each and every individual student that come to us, that approach us, for guidance as to how to go about the entire MBBS admission process. Yeah.
All right. And how can Admission India help MBBS aspirants during the application stage?
See, a lot of students always think that only those who score very high, right, scores of let's say 550 plus out of 720 in NEET can make it to be doctors. But I know for a fact from personal experiences and all that, there have been students, who did not really score very high on the NEET exam that they gave, only for the fact that they're young students, right? They just passed 12 students, right? So they barely understand life as a whole. They barely understand the complexities of the exam and all that. Maybe during the time when they sat for the exams, they could not prepare properly, or maybe something or the other didn't go out well for them. However, they qualified for the exam, and the fact that the government has kept qualifying marks, so it means that the government does allow students who have qualified for NEET, to apply for MBBS seats and all that, right? So, and also, as I mentioned, those very students who did not score very high in NEET, but for the fact that they were given a chance to apply on the basis that they qualified for NEET exam, went on to become great doctors. I'm pretty sure doctors in the past, my aunt is a doctor. She's married to a doctor, and when they did their MBBS from Dibrugarh Medical College in their days, they were just 60% first division students. And right now, they're top doctors in their field, well settled, well respected in their profession. So at the end of the day, I feel what we do as a company is that we encourage students, we show them the way, and we give them the chance to go about the entire MBBS admission process in a very professional, methodical way, and we kind of clarify all the doubts. We kind of help them, right? Because some of them, as I mentioned, they're very young. Class 12 students on average will be 16, 17-year-old. So to put that much of pressure on them, it's not really fair, I would say, right? So as a company, we give them a chance, we encourage them, and we help them, right? In case it really does not work out, we don't just leave it there. We also look at other options and all that, right? Which I'm sure you'll have these questions in mind, and we can talk about it later. But our main aim is to encourage students, and try our level best to guide them and make their dream of becoming a doctor come true.
All right, that's fair enough. And according to you, what are the top abroad options for students who want to pursue their MBBS overseas?
All right. So obviously, when you say top abroad options, nothing like the Western world, US, Canada, right? But frankly speaking, we know how super expensive those are, right? So if you were to do an MBBS degree from, let's say, the UK, in Indian money, it will cost you around about, I would say, starting 40 to 45 lakhs per annum just on the tuition fee. Only for the fact that, to study MBBS in Western world, US and Canada is super expensive.
Of course.
The same being in places like Australia and Canada. But apart from these countries, you do have very good options in places like Romania, right? Poland, right? Georgia has quite a few options of universities that are 100 plus old, 100 years old plus universities. These are all public. And when I say public, I mean government universities, who have churned out, they have come up with a lot of good doctors in the past and all that, right? So Georgia is there, Russia and Ukraine is there, but then, obviously, because of the current situation out there, most of the people are not really comfortable. But Georgia is a very good option, right? Poland, Romania, Bangladesh, a lot of students from Shillong, a lot of students from Meghalaya, they go to Bangladesh. The advantage, because culture is quite similar to ours, food habits very similar, it's very close, it's just 4 hours across the border, you're there, right? And they do have quite a good amount of very good value for money, I would say, medical colleges. So Bangladesh too is a very sought after MBBS admissions, and in the past couple of years also Nepal has been another option where students go and study the MBBS. But then it entirely, as I mentioned, it completely depends on the students' requirements, their personal preferences. So based on that, we advise them whether they should do it in India or whether they should do it abroad, right? Because there are a lot of factors that need to be taken into consideration before making a final decision on which destination you should be studying your MBBS from.
Okay. All right. So the next question here that comes is, are there other options for students who do not have the eligibility criteria to pursue an MBBS course?
Oh yes, there are. And in fact, you'd be surprised to know that these options are also options that are very sought after. So for those students who really do not have the, I would say, eligibility criteria, at times we have had to say things to them which is the bare fact, the bare reality, right? We all know reality bites, but well, if you have to say black is black, you say black is black, white is white, right? So there have been occasions where after talking to the students, after talking to parents, we've come to a realization that they do not have it in them. They do not have it in them to become a doctor. But they still have the capability, the abilities in them to stay in the medical field or in the healthcare, right? So there are other options that they can look at. They can look at nursing. They can look at GNM, which is general nursing and midwifery. They can also look at various paramedical courses. And when you say about paramedical courses, you have medical lab technology, you have cardiovascular care, you have critical care unit technician, operation theatre technician. You can go into a bachelor in optometry, right? And then you can go a bachelor in dialysis technology, radio imaging technology. So there are many paramedical courses where students who cannot become a doctor can take up as an option, equally rewarding and definitely in huge demand. Diabetic technician and all that. If you know for a fact, Sarah, India, I think we have the highest number of diabetic patients in the entire world. Definitely, there's a lot of scope there, right? So what we are saying here is that options are there. It's only that what prevents the students from getting access to that, to those options, is that they don't have the information. So I'm really proud to say that Admission India has been doing a lot of, I would say, publicity. We've been doing a lot of, I would say, giving information out in schools and colleges, where we tell students that in case you're not able to become a doctor, you can still be in the healthcare field by choosing all these various paramedical courses.
Because I think what happens is students have this thought process, right? Because our parents want us to go in this field, MBBS basically. So they try their level best, but then they don't really kind of like understand whether they're capable of being into or getting into that field. Because I remember when I was doing my 12th, or not 12th, when I was gonna get into 12th or class 11, my mom would say you should take science, but I was scared because I don't want to become a doctor. That's the whole point. I don't want to become a doctor. But then there are other factors, and that I realized when I worked here, or I started working here and getting to know that there are like BDS, VMS, and VHS and all this. So, students need to kind of like, now we have social media, we have Google, right? Or you can just go through the internet and just type and browse, the top courses, or maybe courses that you can go under medical sciences. So it's not a restriction anymore. You can actually build on that, and you can go to a science field, but then after that you can pursue something else other than that. So I'm glad that we get to clear that out, because it's sad to see students, just because they can't go into MBBS and then they change their field completely, and then for the rest of their life they're not happy, which is very sad when you've spent your whole life wanting to go to that field, and then you just divert to a different field, right?
Just to give you an example, Sarah, how many dentists do you think are there in Shillong? Okay, let me rephrase the question. How many dentists do you think are there in Laimukra alone?
Probably around 5 or 3 that I know of.
Well, just to give you an example, we have this Federal Bank, right? That building there, just opposite Laimukra Presbyterian Church. Just in that building itself, there are 4 dentists, just in one building. So on an average in Laimukra, I think there'll be around about 15 to 20 dentists. And all of them are open. But one of them are shut. Which means dentists also are in high demand.
Yes, of course.
Right? Dentists are in high demand. And in fact, in places like US and Canada and all that, they have something called dental insurance.
Heard of that.
Why? Because it is very expensive to go to a dentist there. So even a field in dentistry in itself is very rewarding, both professionally and financially.
True.
So there are students who cannot become who cannot become an MBBS doctor, but they can become a dentist. You are still a doctor. It is still a very noble profession. You are still respected.
Exactly.
You know, it's not like in the olden days where they say a dentist is not really a doctor. Well, you still have to study anatomy in your first year. You still have to study all the subjects that an MBBS doctor needs to study. It's just that you do your specialization in your teeth. And nowadays with orthodontists, right? Orthodontists, right? Where you go. So basically, all these people who go into plastic surgery and all that, right? When they change their face, they also need to change how their mouth and all looks. So who comes into it? It's an orthodontist. So who's an orthodontist? He actually is a dentist who have done their specialization in that field, right? Okay, so beautification and all that. So there's a lot of scope. What again and again I'm saying, Admission India is saying is that there's always something for you. If this thing does not work out, it doesn't mean, as you rightly pointed out, you give up. There are similar things that you can take up that still gives you the chance, that still gives you the opportunity, so to say, to remain in the medical field, to remain in the healthcare field. You know, because someone who's chosen that field, why does a person want to become a doctor? Because they want to heal, right? Because it appeals to them. So basically, they want to be in the medical field, they want to be in the healthcare field, right? So maybe you do not have the capability or the ability in you to heal, no problem. But maybe you have the capability and ability in you to help someone heal. So you become a nurse. So you are still doing a noble job. Imagine if there were no nurses, right? If you really see in a hospital, doctors are there. There's no doubt about it. They do have a lot of responsibility. But after the doctor is gone, who takes care of the patient throughout the night? You know, nurses. So it is a very challenging, demanding job, right? And unfortunately, in India, or rather in our state, nurses are highly underpaid. Highly underpaid. Places like UK, Australia, US, Canada, and all that, post-COVID, nurses are paid the amount that they should be paid. So what I'm trying to say here, they are very fairly paid. In fact, highly paid as compared to nurses in India. And there have been quite a few people who did their nursing, who had more than 1 or 2 years of experience, and we've placed them. We've placed in places like UK and all that, and they're working directly with the National Health Services or the NHS, right? So again, nurses also play a very critical role. Someone who works in a CCU or a critical care unit technician, he or she plays a very critical role. Because there's a doctor, there's a nurse, but there's also the critical care unit technician who takes care and makes sure that all the machineries are working in pristine condition, right? So who does all that? For example, an operation theatre technician. He's the one who gets the operation theatre ready before any operation. So even his job is as important as that of a doctor. It's just that the job of a doctor is different, the job of a nurse is different, and the job of a technician is different. So if you were to say that his job is more important and his job, I beg to differ. No. For me, I feel each person's responsibility is as equally important as that of the other person.
Since we've got that out of the question, how many types of MBBS counseling are there, Mark?
Well, usually there are 2 types. One is either you apply through the state quota, or you apply through All India quota. So with state quota, then you need to go through the state counseling, and if it's All on India quota, you need to go through the All India counseling. So basically there are 2 types. So when students they come to us, we advise them based, again, as I mentioned, on how much they've scored, on the personal preferences and all that, whether they should be going for All India counseling or state counseling.
All right. Okay. And how many rounds of MBBS counseling are there?
Well, usually there are 4 rounds. First you have the first round, and then after that, after the first round is done, seats are allocated and all that. Then you have round 2. After round 2, then you have something called the mop-up round, as in mop, M-O-P, mop-up round. So basically, mop-up round is that whatever are the remaining seats, students grab them. And after mop-up round, sometimes what happens is that there are certain students, they don't join. They don't take up the seats that have been allocated to them. Okay, whether it's through government quota or private quota or whatever, right? So certain stray seats are left. So then they have something called as a stray vacancy admission round, which is usually the fourth round, right? But you can understand that in round one is where you get the top of the top.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Round two you get okay, very good college. Then mop out round you may get good or average, and stray vacancy is like whatever's left over you take it. Right?
Okay.
So we always advise the students to either try to get their admission sorted, whether it's in round one or in round two. So that is where they get value for education and value for the money that they will be spending.
Okay. All right. Then, who is required to sit for the national exit test after completing their MBBS degrees?
In the past, all foreign MBBS graduates, that means all students who have done their MBBS education from abroad, if they need or if they want to practice in India, they need to sit for the national exit test, which was conducted by MCI, Medical Council of India. And now they've changed MCI to NMC, National Medical Commission. It's the same thing. At present, all those students who do their MBBS education from abroad and all those students who do their MBBS admissions from private universities or colleges
In India.
or private deemed to be universities in India need to sit for the national exit test.
Okay.
Only students who get to government quota, right, who go through a government quota in a government college, right, need not sit for the national exit test. But as you know, with NMC or the MCI, they're only trying to improve the standard of education, the standard of doctors in the country. So maybe 2 years down the line, everyone needs to sit for it, irrespective whether they go through a government quota, whether they do it from a private elite institute in India, be it KMC Manipal, JSS Mysore, MS Ramaya, right? Or you do it from abroad, everyone needs to sit. So as of now, that is
Those are the requirements. Okay. Yeah, because there are students who get pretty confused whether, if I have to go study abroad, when I come back, I have to give the exam. So at the end of the day, even if you're from a private university, you still have to sit for the exam.
You still have to,
Okay. And what prospects are there for students who do not make it through government quota?
See, again, as I mentioned earlier, when you asked what was so unique about India's admission process. See, obviously to get through government quota, it's a very competitive field out there. So you need to score pretty high in your NEET, I would say, 550 to 600 plus, out of 720. However, as I mentioned, there have been instances, and I know for a fact, I know doctors who, for certain reasons, could not get those very high scores and make it through government quota. But they have qualified for their NEET and they still applied and got seats through various other colleges and all that, and they've gone on to make good doctors of themselves, right? So for those students who do not make it to government quota and all that, all I say is that do not lose your heart. You can come to us, we can guide you, we'll give you advice on how to go about it. We will tell you, we will show you what options are available and all that, and we will facilitate you throughout the admission process. We will guide you, we will tell you, all right, this is what you need to do, this is the college you need to facilitate, this is the college you need to shortlist as per your preferences, as per your likes, and all that. So as long as you qualify for NEET, whether you're from the general category or the reserve category or from the economically weaker section category, as long as you've qualified for NEET, as per the law, the government of India has given you the chance and option to apply for an MBBS seat. Now it entirely depends on how you perform or what you do during the application process that will determine whether you make it or not. So, at the end of the day, what matters is that you do not lose hope. In case door one does not work out, there's always door number two, door number three, right? And like, I like to quote one of my favorite singer, Jim Morrison, like lead vocalist, the late Jim Morrison, vocals the nose. He always says that there are things known and there are things unknown, right? There are things known and there are things unknown. In between are the doors. So we at Admission India encourage you to open the door, because what is unknown will be known to you.
That's a very wise quote, I must tell you. All right, Mark, we'll go to the next question.
Yeah.
What makes Admission India's MBBS admission facilitation process unique?
Basically, as I mentioned, in Admission India, whenever a student comes to us, not only for MBBS admission, but for any other admission, we cater to their needs, to their preferences on an individual basis, right? So it's very custom oriented. It's tailor-made for each and every individual. So for example, if you were to come and your needs are different and my needs are different, so our counselors cater to the students' needs individually on an individual basis, right? And moreover, what makes it unique is the hand-holding process, right? From the time they come to us till the time they join the college, we are always with them at each and every step of the way. So we guide them during the counseling process. We guide them in shortlisting the list of colleges in rank and order. We advise them which colleges to apply to, based on their preferences and all that. Once they have got admission, we also have people on the ground who will take them to the college, help them in paying their fees, help them in doing the physical verification of their original documents and all that. So we take care of everything. So we don't only just help the student, or we don't only advise the student in getting the seat, but we also take care of all the behind the scene requirements that go a long way in turning the MBBS dream of any student into a reality.
All right. So Mark, we've almost come to the end of this interview session or conversation. So what advice or suggestion do you have for MBBS aspirants?
The only advice I have is we are at the 11th and a half hour, I would say, right? May 5th is when you have your NEET exam. So first and foremost, all the best. Give it your best shot. Spend these next few days wisely. Do not try to take unnecessary pressure, because that will not really help you in performing well or doing well in the exams. And also, once the exams are over and the results are declared, remember, there are options available for each and every one of you. For those of you who get into an MBBS degree, I would like to say congratulations in advance. For those of you who will not be able, there will be options available. There will be opportunities available for you that will give you a chance to still remain in the healthcare sector. So call us on the numbers mentioned below, or visit us at our office, which is located in IP building, 2nd floor, Laimunkra, Don Bosco, that is adjacent to Hotel Yalana. Call us and hopefully we'll make a difference in your dreams and turn all your dreams into a reality.
I hope you all are cleared with all the questions you have, or if you're an MBBS aspirant. And if not, you can always comment on the comment section and let us know what you want to know about, or if you have any questions, you can call us as Mark has mentioned. And yeah, thank you very much, Mark, for your time.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for staying with us this long, and I hope to see you in the next session. Bye guys.
Bye.